Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come to you live from our comfy couch around the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for December 19th, 2021, with your host, Peacemaker2448, and Ryan Salon.
Hello.
I know Charizard brought it up in the chat earlier that Saturday is Christmas, which means, I assume, well, no, it has to be. Saturday's episode of Revice has to be the Christmas episode. I can't wait for no one to die, and I will laugh at everyone.
Oh, but they are trying to drum it up that way, even with the next time.
I know.
It's like, oh,
they won't do it. I know they won't.
Because they can't pull the trigger on the one that I feel like at this point everyone should be expecting.
Hiromi?
Yes.
Yeah, they're not.
They can't pull the trigger on him. They've already set the stage a little too grand to just be like, oh yeah, he's dead next week.
I found out that they're on their third wave of pre-orders for the Demon's driver. Bear in mind, how Korean Bandai works is they do one batch of pre-orders, and if it's popular enough, they will do a second batch of pre-orders, and if that's popular enough, they'll do a third batch of pre-orders. That's very rare. You know who's the only other person that I know of that's gotten 3 batches of pre-orders for their related products?
I probably have a good guess, but who?
Good old Stay Caesar over in Zinkiger. He had 3 separate pre-order runs for his Super Mini Claw for his mecha. 3! I think his transformation item also got multiple pre-order runs.
I actually wouldn't have guessed that. I would have probably... I probably would have guessed that Baron would have.
Baron got a Genesis driver just because he was popular.
Hence why I say that.
He didn't have... Bear in mind, this is back when Premium Bandai stuff was fewer and far between. That was more of an in-show thing. This is kind of the equivalence of that, honestly.
It wouldn't surprise me, though, if that doesn't kind of push... Maybe not necessarily him getting an upgraded driver, but at least him staying around for a lot longer.
I saw speculation that there seems to be... that they might be doing something with the Demon, because his Demon is the driver, possibly? So there's something with his eyes in the last couple episodes that's like, it's hinting at there's something with him, which... here's the thing. We have 2 of our writers that are in, like, cooperation with their Demon. But we have 2 of our writers who are not in cooperation with their Demon. I wonder if coming soon we're gonna have a focus on Daiji working with Kagero more, and maybe an upgrade of theirs is like a fusion of their 2 suits. Because I keep seeing being like, oh, I don't like that live is so different from Evil, and I'm like, maybe it's because they'll do a fusion form of the 2 as an upgrade, because that makes sense.
True. And we've already, granted quite literally on a smaller scale, but we've already kind of seen stuff like that with John.
Yeah.
Just saying. So it wouldn't be surprising to see that go farther.
Yeah, and the great thing with Demons is any upgrade you plan, you could just slam in the driver before you release it because it's not coming out till March. I think the first run of it's going to come out in March. So any upgrade you do right now, it's already going to be baked into the driver.
Unless it's new driver.
Right. But I doubt it will be new driver. not for demons. No, we are selling you $100+ driver. We're good. That he is keeping that driver for the rest of the show because we want you to buy this driver. The only way he gets rid of this driver is if it's long. If we are most of the way through the show and we have already sold that. We are not risking that. Especially because
I also see something that may or may not point towards the idea that the opening kind of has. As you know, the opening, we basically see two different sides of Iki.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in the opening.
What if that's actually not Vice, like everyone's thinking?
Maybe.
I'm not going to say more than that. I'm just going to let that be food for thought when you watch the episode. Because there's certain things that's said, and I'm like, oh, now I might see what you're going to try to do.
Yeah. I'm also going to point out this because Beyond Generations came out this weekend. We do have a plot summary of it. Although I have seen conflicting reports on this one scene. So, I have seen a report that says that there is a post-credit scene where George is looking at writer stuff and trying to figure out what he should be as a writer.
Oh, God.
But I have seen reports that says that scene doesn't exist. So I don't know.
Okay, now to this I'm going to say that wouldn't surprise me.
Right.
I also think that it gets back to stuff that I'm not going to go into because I know you haven't watched the episode. But yeah, you know his suspicious behaviors?
Oh, I've seen the back half of the episode raw, so I saw him with Gifu, and I'm like,
yeah,
sir.
I'm like, you are too interested right now.
But yeah, honestly, like one of the things I'm reading right now is on Instagram. It's one of the things I follow on Instagram for stuff like this. It does not have that scene in its breakdown of the plot. So that is more or less a 2-to-1 on that scene not existing. So I'm willing to bet that scene doesn't exist, which means that there is no tease for a like start of the year writer debut.
Which I feel like that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we're at the same kind of point we were with 01 where we needed to start introducing another person.
Yeah.
So I kind of can see that being one of those, we're just going to opt to not do it.
Yeah. Especially because, and this is kind of like a connecting of different things. First and foremost, the Body Directs Vice stamp has a slot on the side of it that looks like something plugs into it. That very clearly changes the standby noise. There is a power-up slated for release at the start of next year. People have speculated that that is Vice's upgrade, so that he's on par with Body Directs.
Which would make sense, because, I mean, the form originally was supposed to be so he could transform without Vice.
Yeah.
This kind of feels like that, not really an upgrade, but it is form. And we're going to get a more complete form that honestly might actually make this form just no longer exist.
Yeah. I have also seen, while it's not in the episode preview itself, it is in images for next week's episode. But guess who's finally going to slam a Vice stamp on their chest and transform into a monster?
Who?
Aguilera. We are finally going to see her monster form next week.
That complicates something that is mentioned in this episode, so yeah.
Yeah. But that's kind of the big thing from the episode image and previews, was besides the mom thing and demons having a fight with the squid one. I forget which one that is. But he's having a fight with one of them. That was the only thing from episode previews that I believe that's not in the episode preview, if I recall correctly. So next week's going to be a fun episode. I really will hope no one dies, just so I can laugh at everyone, because Hawk and them are going to do a Tokyo World Tour episode on the laser episode where he dies.
Oh god.
Yeah, they're going to do an episode talking about that episode, because that episode has traumatized everyone to the point that no, this is the standard, this is the rule, not the exception, totally, forever. Except it's not, because y'all have short memories sometimes. Sorry. This is the exception, not the rule. Literally.
I mean, we always have someone die right now, right? Right?
No. If so, name me everyone who's died at Christmas.
Exactly.
I dare you to name everyone. If you say the build one, you're wrong, because it was January. It was late into January. If you say the other two, I'm going to point out that all three of them got revived later in the series. One of which was just 9 episodes later. So yeah, Revice good. I'm happy. It does mean I have to track down Soto now, because I'm going to commit to getting Soto. And you know what's funny?
What?
I can find Soto Vice, like base Vice. I can't really find base Soto Revi.
Well then.
I think the Vice forms are shell forming while everyone's going after the Revi forms, which does not surprise me one fucking bit.
That'll change.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like with Vice, he was meant to be uber annoying at the beginning, and that be the reason why you start liking him a little bit into the show kind of concept.
Yeah.
I feel like where they started was like on a harder level than where we were with Deno, but it was the same kind of trajectory they wanted to mimic there.
Yeah. But yeah, we have Ryuki to talk about for probably less time than we'll talk about with Revice.
Almost definitely, because I was completely just bored out of this one.
Yeah. But
Which
this is...
I honestly can say has not happened with us doing this outside of parts of Ichigo. And I think really the last time might have been Wizard. When we hit that batch of just filler.
On the plus side, I have ideas for what to do since we probably won't have a writer show after a week. I move on to Kuga, I guess, for a little bit, maybe. That just depends. Well, Kuga and 01. Unfortunately, one of
01 definite.
Yeah. The only problem is one of them I don't want to do until all the movies are out, and that's going to be a while. The other one I don't want to do until the movie is out. The singular movie.
And that might be a while.
Yeah, because I want us to do Gridman and Dynazenon since they're both really good. And they're Toku adjacent, at least. But the Gridman Dynazenon movie doesn't come out till next year. And I don't know when it's going to come out for us to view. And I'd also like to do Princess Principal, because I am reminded of, oh god, this anime is really good, I really enjoy it. But it's got like a 6-part little like OVA series it's doing right now in theaters, and I don't want to do the show until all 6 are out, because it's like 13 episodes.
Fair.
Like, we could bang that show out in a month.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, Ryuki this week. It's 13 through 16. Anything specific before we get into recaps?
I mean, it does kind of tie with the first 2 episodes, but it's already well known at this point, so I don't consider it spoilers. Our lawyer dude is a complete and total scumbag of society.
Yeah. He just brings Goro down with all the bullshit he does, and I hate it. Because I like Goro. Goro feels like a decent human being, at least.
Okay. When compared to him, everyone looks like a decent human being.
True. Very true.
More so after these first 2 episodes.
Yeah, so speaking of Zelda himself, it's episode 13, That Man, Zelda. So our Adley crew is having dinner, but Rin leaves because he's conflicted about recent events involving his fiancée and having to murder a writer, which... Does he really need to murder a writer?
I mean, honestly, no. I mean, eventually he'll have to, but honestly, no. He could just sit idly by and let everyone else kill themselves.
Well, I was gonna also point out, we've seen that they can break the decks with a final vent. So, that won't kill them. Unless the mirror monster gets to them before they can save them, but, I mean...
Also, I want to point out something. We've actually had that happen.
Yeah?
And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he the one that broke the deck?
Yes.
So technically he has killed someone. Just keep that in mind. That makes these 4 episodes even worse.
He did kill someone, but he didn't do the murder himself. He only facilitated the circumstances for the murder to happen.
Oh, he did the murder himself. Yes. He broke the deck and refused to get the person out of there. Yeah, he did it.
Yeah. But yeah, so he's conflicted about all that. The next day, Reiko and Shinji are off to investigate a mystery elevator that people apparently disappear in when they go up in it, because... Look, it's a fucking mirror monster. I don't know if the show is supposed to like leave me in suspense about, oh no, is it a mirror monster or not? Because it's always been a fucking mirror monster.
Also, I love the fact that we are 13 episodes in, and the mirror monster is the plot B.
Rider stuff in general is the B plot of this series.
I mean, not so much with this one.
Yeah.
Because the stuff pertaining to the riders with this two-parter actually is the A plot. But the Mirror Monster is the B plot.
Yeah. He is a thing that needs to exist so we have a fight scene at some point.
That we really don't need because the show gives plenty of reason enough to have a fight scene.
Yeah. So yeah, they're off to investigate that. Meanwhile, Rin runs into fortune teller man who has like 5 million ways of telling fortunes. I don't understand. How? Because his first way of telling fortunes is to flip 3 American quarters in the air, and how they land tells him the fortune?
Question mark?
And then later, he lights a match and stares into it? And between those two, he does a different method of distributing the quarters to tell a fortune. Sir, how the fuck does your fortune telling work? I am this close to calling bullshit.
I know. It's not fortune telling. It's plot telling.
Fair. He's just reading the script.
Yep. I get it. He's Kamen Rider spoiler.
Yes. I am surprised that's not been a name at this point.
Truthfully, so am I now that I've said that out loud. I started out that as a joke, and then it's like, wait a minute. Yeah. How have we managed to not?
But yeah, this fortune teller whose name is Tezuka, which we don't find out till the next episode halfway through.
And we don't care enough to remember throughout this entire 4-parter.
Yeah.
He is literally just writer person that's there to pester Ren.
Yes. He tells Ren's fortune like, you're in conflict about something. Maybe I can help you because I'm also a writer, but I don't want to fight you. Okay. Do you want to talk about the reason why you don't want writers to fight?
No, we'll get to that next episode.
Okay.
And by that, I mean not at all, really. Because it's just he doesn't want writers to fight.
It's like Shinji's motivation of, I don't want to fight writers, I just want to fight monsters and be bad at it.
Yeah, I mean, if he was at least good at it, that'd be one thing.
But anyway, we go over to Shinji and Reiko, and they go in the elevators. Shinji ends up in an elevator with Goro. Reiko ends up in one with Kitaoka. Reiko and Kitaoka have their usual bit. Shinji interacts with Goro a little bit until he calls Yui to be like, I've seen this guy before. And Yui accidentally implies that he is Zolda instead of the lawyer.
Well, I mean, bad phone service and talking to an idiot, so it's not her fault.
Fair. So now Shinji thinks that Goro is Zolda, which I wish was the case. But no.
It would be more... It would be easier to like Zolda if it was Goro. Because he wouldn't be as big of a jerk.
If it wasn't a shit stain of a human being.
I don't even think he's worthy of that.
True. Not after this. So, meanwhile, Ren and Tezuka meet up at a stadium, and they decide to fight because Ren's in a mood, he wants to fight, and Tezuka's like, fine, I'll fight you. So, they're fighting for the rest of the episode. That's pretty much it. We find out that he is Kamen Rider Raya, who is Kamen Rider Sting from Dragonite. So he's got like a copy vent, and he's got his whip vent. And that's it. That's all he's got. But back with Shinji, he tries to talk to Goro to be like, no, don't fight! But then Kyoto interrupts, and then he finds out, oh, he thinks Goro's is Zolda. I'm gonna pull a dick move. So, when Shinji and Kitaoka hear a mirror monster, they both go after it. Except Kitaoka interrupts Shinji going after it to fight him. And he sets up a situation where Shinji fires his strike vent at him, and it seemingly kills Zolda. Which, as we see in the elevator, Goro in Kitaoka's arms as he is all busted up about this, and Shinji is now distraught. And that is the episode. Which
I would
takes
say
us
it
to
gets better, but no, it gets worse.
Yeah, which takes us to episode 14, Revival Day. So Shinji is distraught, and he takes blame for it, but Kitaoka doesn't take that, because he's like, you weren't even there, rah, 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 rah. And he tries to head off with Goro, and he even has the fucking gall to be like, I can't put you in jail, even if I'm a super lawyer. Bullshit. You will find a way. If this was legit, his ass would be in jail forever.
Mm-hmm.
You would find a way. But he does go like, well, there is one way you can atone for this. Which is pretty much going, you can commit suicide without saying you can commit suicide, because... Yeah, that's something a character should say that I am supposed to root for at some point, I guess.
I mean, he just implies that Drag Rider should eat him.
No!
Which seems to be a recurring theme for these 4 episodes now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. So yeah, Kitaoka takes off for Goro to presumably take him to the hospital, but he doesn't because Goro's just plain dead. But now Shinji is distraught about this. Meanwhile, Ren and Tezuka are done fighting each other, and Ren leaves. And then we find out that Reiko's now been blackballed from some event thing by Kitaoka, because once more, this man has to be a dick to everybody.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Shinji is so distraught that at Adley, he either commands or lets Drag Rider try to eat him.
I think it's just let's.
I guess. But Yui stops this by going in front of him, and Drag Rider just stops and is like, "Aw, I can't eat her, I guess. Bye."
Because plot reasons. Like, I feel like that's all it is.
Yeah, it's like, why is she stopping you? I'm pretty sure you could throw her across the room and get this over with. I guess you're at least being polite about this.
I mean, what, does she have a steel card taped to her back or something? I mean, so far that's been the only thing we've seen actually stop any of them.
I mean, she supposedly has one according to the opening.
Yeah, but... yeah, we don't see it, so nope.
Yeah. And this is when Yu tries to figure out why, and both her and Rin hear the story about Zolda, and Rin eventually goes to investigate, and between him and Reiko, because Rin talks to Shinji and finds out the whole story, they end up
finds out that Shinji's an idiot.
Yeah. They've managed to just draw out Kitaoka and Goro to where Kitaoka has the Zolda deck, and Goro just walking out of the elevator in front of Shinji. So, oh look! Kitaoka is Zolda! And Goro is alive! And all Shinji can do is just be happy Goro's alive and is not upset or angry at all at either person involved in this situation.
Idiot.
I hate him, I hate him, I hate him. At least punch Kitaoka! Please! Punch him once! Please! That's all I ask. Anyway, Shinji and Ren then go beat up the monster that was in the elevator. We end with the dinner scene, but Ren's happier now. But then we end with Tezuka having a vision of Knight dying in the Rider War because a cloth thing with his deck ink, like, drawn on it blows away in the wind and catches on this lantern, which I guess means he's going to die, according to Tezuka. Okay.
Which, all I'm gonna say is keep that in mind, because the events of the next 2 episodes are because of him. If he just shut up and stayed out of the way, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. But, that's the end of the episode. How'd you feel about the first 2?
I really hate Zelda.
Yeah.
Like, dang.
He is a garbage fire of a human being.
Like, we have had some pretty bad villains as far as Ryder goes, but he's all the way up there.
I'm also going to point out that he's technically not the main, like, Dark Rider of this series. We don't get introduced to him until next week. Like, ponder that for a second.
Yeah.
There is somebody worse than him. That is technically the Dark Rider of this series. Yeah, it's Ryuki being Ryuki, and I wish it would try to do better, and it's not. Shall we hit the second half then?
I guess so.
Alright, we pick up episode 15, Iron Mask Legend. So, we're at Ore, and we find out that the boss is going to be out due to his physical. And they need somebody to fill in, because apparently Reiko is taking his position. I guess. I don't think they specified.
Because, they totally can't handle a day without him.
Yeah. So, Yui ends up getting pulled in as the replacement, as we see that a mysterious death game is going on in the city between cloaked individuals and masked, and this totally isn't like the Rider War at all. It totally doesn't have a Rider involved, as Shinji literally lampshades within 5 seconds of this episode starting.
Mm-hmm.
So, Shinji and Yui are off to investigate, while Tezuka tries to, reach out to Rin and be like, hey, I can help you with your problems. No, the fuck you can't. But sure, give it a swing. So, we follow Shinji and Yui. They find one of these fights that is intercut with game footage, I assume, because they speak about a game later in the episode, and I'm like, wait, is this footage of the game, or is this how the video of this fight is being broadcasted somewhere?
Yes.
Because either way, it looks like garbage.
True.
Like, this game looks like garbage. But they find the fight after it's over, and they help out the guy, and, they dive in further, especially since they get a threat sent to the Ori Journal from a local game club at a school that is chock full of shitheads. I hate every single one of them.
I guess it's a good thing that they all die.
I guess.
Presumably.
I think only the one dies via Mirror Monster.
Yeah, but seeing as how they disappear and we never hear from them again, yeah.
Fair. So, they're a bunch of shitheads and they get no results from it. This is when Tezuka gets introduced to the gang at night. And Shinji likes him because, you want to stop the Rider War. You want Riders to help each other fight monsters. I like you. Fantastic. But he's also like, you will meet a new Rider at the bottom of this case. Fucking no shit. I would be surprised if we weren't. But Reiko calls in with a lead that sends Shinji to the local pier with no backup, because why give Shinji backup with 2 other riders in the room? I guess it's because they don't care. But once we're there, we see the combatants take each other out, and the mastermind behind this is Jun of said club, who is also Guy. As we see when a mirror monster kills one of the club members, and he goes to fight it and kills it in like no time. Also, he must have, I think he has the most impractical visor of everybody so far. Because everyone else's is like a weapon or an item that they have in their hand. His is on his fucking shoulder pad, and he has to throw the card in there to slot it in.
I mean, yeah.
That's incredibly impractical.
But it needed to be different.
It could have been anything else besides the shoulder pad.
Yeah. Anything else.
But yeah, he destroys the mirror monster and then goes after Shinji, and Shinji gets the shit kicked out of him with this guy until when Shinji tries to summon Drag Rider, the card gets knocked out of his hand, and Guy steals it, reverting Shinji to his blank form of Ryuki, because that's how this works, I guess. I guess there's not multiple copies of the cards in the deck. I guess it's just the 1 copy each.
I guess.
But yeah, that's episode 15, which takes us to episode 16, Card of Destiny. Rin and Tezuka finally show up, and they get Shinji out and back to Adley. But they don't defeat the other mirror monster that's around, because honestly, nobody gives a shit about the mirror monsters in this fucking series. Y'all are so bad at trying to do some good. Y'all suck. But in the process, Tezuka calls out Rin on his nonsense of like, you're not this much of a shithead, and gets punched for it. As Rin's like, no, I'm totally a shithead. Leave me alone. Meh. No progress on anything, I swear. With him. It's just, I need to be moody all the time.
Yeah. That's unfortunately kind of his thing.
Yeah. So, everybody regroups, and unfortunately for the Ore crew, they get hit by a virus. Via Jun, that steals the addresses of all of their subscribers, that he holds hostage, along with Shinji's advent card, so he can take over Ore Journal for like a day. Or 2, I guess. I've got a point about this later, and it makes me very angry, because I wanted it to happen, but it doesn't, because Shinji refuses to do anything.
I mean, which is normal.
But yeah, we get nonsense with like a photo shoot, and Shinji writing a thing about Jun as their editor, and I don't fucking care. I literally skipped through all of this.
Fair.
And since, I don't know if you're aware, but the show's on Tubi now.
Nope, didn't know.
Okay, it's on Tubi. Thank God. I think it got put up sometime this week. It's on a better player in sight. But I just mashed that skip 10 seconds button until we were out of this. But Nanako at this point goes to Adley to set up shop to do a counter virus to steal the addresses back, and I guess lock Jun out of their system. And I guess make sure he didn't make a copy of it, just in case. But that does leave Shinji dealing with the fact that Jin still has his card, and at one point in this episode, instead of holding a lighter to the card, he just has it like under, like, kind of just holding out from his hand, not that much, with no lighter to it.
Yeah.
Why does Shinji not punch
it?
He could have grabbed it without tearing it, or he could have decked this son of a bitch and just took it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. This small child needs to shut the fuck up and just get his ass kicked and put in his place. He really, really, really does. I'm sorry, Shinji. This man deserves to be punched. But unfortunately, that means Rin has to show up now and fight this guy. He does knock the card away, so Tezuka can go grab the card, bring it to Shinji. Him and Shinji go fight the other mirror monster, because that's a plot thread we need to take care of real quick. But Rin absolutely destroys this kid. But we end the episode before he almost tries to kill him! Which he won't, because of course not. You give me hope, but no. Yeah, that is the episode, folks. God, this week sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Show, please, pull yourself out of the rut. I know it's hard, but please. Yeah, that's the episode. Anything else on them?
Nope.
Alright then, like I said, next week we get introduced to Oja, aka Strike from Dragon Knight. Would you like to guess how many parts his thing is?
How many?
Because apparently starting next week we are in a 9-episode arc introducing him and dealing with him.
Well, I mean...
Nine episodes.
Well, I mean, when his introduction is going to be C-plot, yeah, it's probably going to make sense. Because I get the bad feeling that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Mainly because it's pretty much happened every time up till now.
Yeah. So, we've got that starting next week. But between now and then, we are doing Prime Rando Wednesday. I'm doing Mortal Kombat Thursday. And as long as hardware stuff is fine, Saturday will be us continuing Galaxy. It is still on track to come in Tuesday, so expect good news or bad news Tuesday.
Which will then mean one of two things happening Saturday kind of deal.
Yeah. But if you like what you've seen, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chip away at that affiliate code. Add to Soon on Twitter. Gets you updates when we're live. Next Match Point Discord and chat. Gets you this for link. Drop by. Say hi. See you Wednesday, folks.